Picture this, an 18-year-old black girl, handcuffed in a small-town courtroom, facing a trumped-up charge that could ruin her life, stares down a smug prosecutor while whispers of prejudice ripple through the crowd, until she flips open her wallet, revealing a CIA badge that silences the room like a thunderclap, a moment so electric it could grip anyone from the streets of Brooklyn to the pubs of Birmingham. If you're hooked on stories of justice, jaw-dropping twists, and underdogs flipping the script, hit that subscribe button now. Join a community of thousands across the USA and UK who crave tales that spark hope, challenge assumptions, and prove the truth always fights its way out. Don't miss out. Subscribe today for narratives that hit harder than a courtroom gavel. In the humid haze of Cypressville, Alabama, where magnolias bloomed but old biases lingered like morning fog, Aaliyah Carter stood in the county courthouse, her wrists chafed by cold handcuffs, her heart pounding not from fear but from the weight of a secret she'd guarded for months. At 18, she was the youngest black woman ever to face such a public trial in this town, accused of stealing a police cruiser after a chaotic protest over a local shooting, an incident where tempers flared and batons swung too freely. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Locals packed the pews, some clutching homemade signs demanding justice, others muttering slurs under their breath, while the prosecutor, a wiry man named Hargrove with a reputation for winning at any cost, laid out a damning case. Aaliyah, he claimed, had been caught on grainy dashcam footage hot wiring the cruiser, her face allegedly clear as day, her motive painted as revenge against a police force she'd publicly criticized on social media for racial profiling. The evidence seemed airtight. Witnesses swore they saw her fleeing the scene, a hoodie obscuring half her face, and the cruiser was found abandoned in a ditch near her neighborhood, her fingerprints supposedly on the wheel. Aaliyah's mother, Latoya, a nurse who'd raised her alone after her father died in Afghanistan, sat in the front row, eyes red but defiant, whispering prayers as the judge, a stern woman named Caldwell, banged her gavel for order. Aaliyah's public defender, a nervous rookie named Timms, fumbled through papers, unprepared for Hargrove's slick accusations, and the crowd sensed a conviction was imminent, the town's old wounds of race and power festering openly. But Aaliyah stood tall, her braided hair neat despite a sleepless night in a cell, her gaze locking onto Hargrove's with an intensity that unnerved him, a flicker of something he couldn't place, confidence, not desperation. As Hargrove demanded a guilty plea to spare her a harsher sentence, Aaliyah whispered to Timms, who hesitated, then nodded. She reached into her pocket, gasps rippled as the bailiff tensed, expecting trouble, but she pulled out a slim black wallet and flipped it open, revealing a gleaming CIA badge, the eagle and shield unmistakable under the courtroom's fluorescent lights. Silence crashed over the room like a wave. Hargrove's jaw dropped, Judge Caldwell leaned forward, and the crowd erupted in murmurs, phones covertly recording as Aaliyah's voice cut through, calm but firm. "I'm not just a defendant. I'm an asset, and this case is a mistake." The badge wasn't fake, verified later by a stunned call to Langley, and the revelation unraveled everything. Aaliyah, it turned out, had been recruited by the CIA at 17, a prodigy in cybersecurity scouted during a high school hackathon, her skills in decrypting code so exceptional she'd been fast-tracked into covert training, her identity hidden even from her mother for national security. The stolen cruiser. Part of an off-the-books op to infiltrate a local militia group suspected of trafficking weapons, a group the Cypressville PD had failed to monitor due to internal leaks. Aaliyah hadn't stolen the cruiser, she'd driven it under orders, her fingerprints planted to maintain her cover as a civilian, the dashcam footage doctored by her handlers to protect her mission. The twist deepened. The arresting officer, Deputy Malone, was linked to the militia, his false report targeting Aaliyah to derail her investigation after she'd gotten too close to exposing his double-dealing. Hargrove, unaware of Malone's ties, had been fed bad intel, his case collapsing as Aaliyah's CIA supervisor, a no-nonsense woman named Agent Kessler, stormed into court with declassified documents, her testimony exposing Malone's corruption and forcing his immediate suspension. The courtroom chaos grew as locals grappled with the truth. The girl they'd vilified wasn't a criminal but a hero risking her life to protect them. Latoya wept, pride overtaking her fear, while Timms, now emboldened, demanded all charges dropped. But the story twisted further. Malone's arrest uncovered a wider conspiracy, implicating half the precinct in a cover-up tied to the militia, shaking Cypressville to its core. By morning, national news vans lined Main Street, CNN and BBC crews interviewing residents, Aaliyah's face plastered across headlines from Mobile to Manchester, teen CIA operative exposes corruption. The town, once divided, rallied around her, the same neighbors who'd whispered slurs now baked casseroles for LaToya, ashamed but earnest. Aaliyah, though, faced a personal cost. Her cover blown, she'd never work undercover again, her dream of a quiet life at college replaced by a desk job at Langley, a sacrifice she accepted with a heavy heart. Yet in a final twist, during a televised town hall, Malone's daughter, a classmate of Aaliyah's, publicly apologized, revealing she'd leaked the dashcam footage under pressure from her father, a choice she regretted when she learned Aaliyah had saved her from being collateral in the militia's plans. The girls embraced, a moment that went viral, trending with #Cypressville Redemption, inspiring school programs on bias and bravery across the USA and UK. Aaliyah, now 19, spoke at a UN Youth Summit, her voice steady as she urged kids to question narratives and fight for truth, her badge no longer a secret but a symbol. Cypressville rebuilt, its police force reformed, its people kinder, all because one girl's courage turned a courtroom shock into a legacy of change, proving that even in the darkest accusations, truth can shine brighter than any badge.